To finish a cross stitch piece in a hoop, you will need your finished piece. This is the RTO kit I finished a few weeks ago. The hoop, of course, and I'm using a Nerd picture hoop. Some stranded cotton, don't worry too much about the colour. Your backing fabric, I'm using craft cotton and fusible interfacing, but felt is also an excellent option here. Thread, again, I'm using sewing thread, but you may choose to use stranded cotton. And then you'll need a cross stitch needle, a sewing needle, something to mark your backing fabric, I'm using a pencil, and a fabric scissors. So I start by tracing around the outside of the inner hoop, so that's the smaller hoop, onto my interfacing. If you're using felt, you would just trace the hoop onto the felt. I then cut out this circle and iron it onto my cotton fabric. And again, if you're using felt, you don't need to worry about this step. I then set my backing fabric circle aside and place my cross stitch piece inside the hoop before trimming off some of the excess fabric. Then, using a cross stitch needle, I pull a length of embroidery thread through the fabric, leaving a tail, and I sew a running stitch around the entire circle of fabric before then pulling the two tails to draw the fabric in tight around the frame, and then I secure the threads with the knot before trimming the tails. Next, using my sewing needle, I secure a length of sewing thread to the cross stitch fabric before lining up my circle of backing fabric. And I then use a blanket stitch to join the two fabrics together. And again, if you choose to use a contrasting embroidery thread, for example, you could really make a feature of your blanket stitch here. My blanket stitch just wasn't neat enough to do that with. So once your two fabrics are joined, all that's left for you to do is to secure your thread, trim your thread ends, and congratulate yourself on a job well done.